Hi, welcome to Florida Sports Docs. What I'm going to show you today is an excellent exercise for glute activation. It's called a multi-directional band walk with a squat at the end. Excellent exercise for glute activation, which will help strengthen your pelvis, help with back pain, knee pain, and really just give you some good general strength and stability for performing sports. I use it with my athletes as well as with clients and patients depending on what I'm doing with them. You can use different levels of bands. Obviously it's going to depend on your strength. Where am I at? And that's going to be more of a trial and error thing. Putting it on and making sure you can do it and do it properly without hurting yourself or having to cheat, which is what we don't want to do. So there's 3 different bands. I'm actually going to use a blue band today to demonstrate this. And what you do is you put this on around your ankles. This goes on down around your ankles. So once you get the band on, what you're going to do is you're going to put your feet at hip width. They stay at hip width the entire time during the exercise. So there's not a lot of movement. You see a lot of people when they do this exercise, they're really kind of reaching as far as they can. They're using big muscles. I want to work all the little stabilizers along with really kind of isolating and activating those glutes. So you keep your feet at hip width. You also want to make sure you're in a good athletic posture. So you want your knees bent. You want to be sitting back in a good posture. You don't want to lock your knees out. So get your feet hip width apart, and it's just a real short little step. I kind of sometimes call this my grandparent step or whatever. Not very big. You're only moving about an inch at each step. So once you get your feet here, your knees are activated in a good position here, you just take little steps, just like this. This is all the further you got to move with this. It's really simple, but it's very, very effective. So you walk first with your feet straight. You're going to go 10 to one direction. You're going to go 10 back the other direction. All right, then once you do that, you're going to turn your toes out, still keeping that same width. And you're still going to do the step. Make sure you pick your feet up off the ground. If you have to drag them initially, you may have to do that. Maybe telling the band's a little strong, so you might need to let it down. But it's really more helpful if you can pick your feet up, because it makes everything have to activate as well. So then with your toes out, again, you go 10 each direction. Then after that, you turn your toes in. This is probably one of the most challenging parts for people, is to keep those toes in. You keep wanting to rotate out, because this is very, the muscle's very weak at this point trying to do this. So you lead with your heel. I always tell people push with your heel. You have to watch your toes and make sure they stay. And again, they're going to want to creep out. You've got to really be disciplined to hold them in. And go back the other way. And you should feel all this through your hip complex, all the way through here, whole glute area. Now, once you've done that, you straighten your feet out, and you do 10 forward walks. Each foot 10 forward. Then you walk back 10. Make sure when you're walking backwards, you don't stand up and lean back. It's not a fall backwards exercise. You got to stay in your athletic posture, and you walk 10 back or 20 with each leg. Now, once you're done with that, the last part of this exercise then is to bring the band up just below your knees. Get your feet apart, again, hip width or slightly greater. And you want to hold your knees apart, and this is the squat action. I prefer a deep squat if possible. So when you go down, you can put your arms out like a zombie and really sit and drop and keep your knees apart. Knees want to collapse together. It's very important to hold them apart. Now, if you're having trouble or think you're going to fall over, I suggest you could use a sandbag, you could use a dumbbell, something to kind of counter you. So you pull on the sandbag, pull apart, reach out, press it, come back up. Press and come back up. Again, you can use a dumbbell, you can use weights, kettlebells, doesn't really matter. It's important to keep the knees apart and do the squat. You're doing 10 repetitions of each. You can do 1 to 2 sets. I don't really recommend more than 2 sets. It's a pretty high volume thing. It's always an excellent exercise. Have fun with it. Talk to you later.